Our first date was a lot of fun. We went to, well, Valerie lived in Birmingham and I lived in Atlanta, so we met halfway in Pine Mountain, Georgia. They have what's called a wild animal safari over there.
We got to drive through this really neat path that had just animals kind of roaming around, and they would come up to the car and we could feed them. At one point the elk got mad at us and actually kicked the car.
She was feeding an elk at one point, and I was kind of like, why don't you throw the food a little further away from the car or whatever, but she didn't quite make it out, and the elk kicked my car door, which later on I saw there was no damage, and I didn't really care about the car that much anyways, but that was kind of funny.
Afterward, it was about lunchtime, and Griffin said the magic words to me, which were, hey, do you want to go to Auburn for lunch?
And ate dinner at Mama Goldberg's, which is our favorite deli place. They make steamed deli sandwiches, which are delicious. And if you haven't had one, you should really go have one. Right after the wedding, just go over there and get one.
And then we actually just sat in the Arboretum, which is this really nice garden area on campus, and we talked for a couple of hours, which was fun to me. I'd never really, I guess, felt that comfortable around someone. So we talked about all kinds of things, and toward the end of the date, Griffin said to me, I would like to pursue a dating relationship with you, which I had also never had anyone say that. And as I recall, a couple days later, he actually called and said, you know, I told you I wanted to pursue a relationship with you, but I think I'd really rather just be in a relationship with you. So that was fun. And as we were saying goodbye, he, you know, gave me a hug, and then he just leaned in and kissed me, and so we had our first date and our first kiss at the same time.
I don't usually, or I've never kissed anybody on my first date, but considering this was an 8-hour date and she was an awesome girl, I just went ahead and went for it. So.
You're a falling star, you're the getaway car, you're the line in the sand when I go too far. You're the swimming pool on an August day, and you're the perfect thing to say. And you play it coy, but it's kinda cute. Oh, when you smile at me, you know exactly what you do. Baby, don't pretend that you don't know it's true, 'cause you can see it when I look at you. And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you, you make me sing your every line, your every word, your everything. You're a carousel, you're a wishing well, and you light me up when you ring my bell. You're a mystery, you're from outer space, you're every minute of my everyday. And I can't believe that I'm your man, and I get to kiss you, baby, just because I can. Whatever comes our way, I will see it through, and you know that's what our love can do. And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you, you make me sing your every line.
So for the engagement, I knew Valerie's a huge Auburn fan. My parents kind of came to me and said, hey, what about, you know, going on the field? Like if you could do it on the field. So we checked some connections, and you're never allowed on the field, anybody but players. But the A-Day game was coming up, which is Auburn's scrimmage game, and they allow the fans on the field after that game every year. The only game of the year they do that. So we waited on the A-Day game, and I got my friend Mark Stevens, who's also a groomsman, to come down and just, you know, we were good friends, and he's a good photographer. So he came down and was just hanging out, taking pictures. You know, Daniel and Becca were there, my parents, everybody was there.
The fans were allowed down on the field, and Griffin says to me, hey, let's go have our picture made with Abby. So we head that way. There are about 200 people around Abby, and I look at Griffin and I'm like, I think this is going to take a couple hours. Are you sure you want to do this? And he kind of blows the question off, and he's like, yeah, you know, we'll just, and I was like, okay.
So we got Abby, which was one of our friends, that my parents knew through church to come around out of a crowd of about 200 people that were waiting to see him. And he came over to us, got pictures with us together, and then I said, why don't you take a picture with Abby by yourself? And Valerie was like, just me and Abby? And I was like, yeah, sure. So they got together, took a picture, and in the meantime, my mom handed Abby the banner I had made.
So I turn around and Abby now is unrolling a banner, which Jim had previously told me was architectural plans. Again, the Stewarts are big liars. So he starts to unroll this sign, which I didn't know about, and because of his furry little fingers, he was having a little trouble. So I leaned down to help him unroll the banner, and he turns around with it, and it actually says, Valerie Sylvester Griffin has a question he'd like to ask you. I only got through my name before I knew what it was and instantly forgot how to read. So I didn't know what it said. I didn't know if Will You Marry Me was on it, if I was supposed to say yes, if I was supposed to do something. I turned around and Griffin was behind me, down on one knee, and I was already crying, and he said, he said, Valerie, I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you when you marry me. And I said, of course. And then he stood up and I hugged him, and there was my family there, all a bunch of liars. So.